Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a powerful Capitol Hill exchange. Senator Josh Hawley urges President Trump's labor nominee to put workers first. With AI reshaping industries and jobs, Hawley demands real answers and protections. What does this mean for American jobs and the future of work? Let's break it down.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sonderling, nice to see you again. I enjoyed our
see
conversation
you.
the other day. I've been talking about a pro-worker framework for policy and legislation that I hope to advance in this Congress, doing common sense things like delivering transparency in the workforce, holding abusive employers accountable, making union elections fair and timely, getting fair and timely initial contracts when employees vote for a union, and boosting penalties for unfair treatment. You and I have talked about this some. You kindly offered in my office to work with me and provide technical feedback on the legislation and other forms of support. Are you willing to reaffirm that today?
He agreed. Full support. A good start. Here's where things heat up. Artificial intelligence. AI isn't just a Silicon Valley buzzword, it's real, it's everywhere, and it's coming fast. So I asked, what role should AI play in federal hiring? The answer? Use the tools but follow the law. Use innovation but don't leave workers behind. But let's be real, we've heard that before. We need action, not just talk.
Good, very good. Thank you for that. Let me ask you a little bit about artificial intelligence, which is something else that you and I discussed, and I enjoyed our conversation. You talked about your tenure at the EEOC and your role that you played helping to determine the appropriate uses for AI in hiring. What role do you think AI should play when it comes to federal hiring?
I think that we have to look at this, whether it's the federal government or the private sector, the same way. The tools that are being developed out of Silicon Valley are being used in the hiring process, not just here in the US, but across the world. And I think the US needs to obviously lead in that innovation, and we need to keep that innovation here, but how do we do that? And that's what we discussed, making sure that all these tools are designed in accordance with our longstanding laws, no matter what the use is. We talked about employment, but there's obviously a lot of different kinds of uses of artificial intelligence, and we are not going to be able to succeed as a global leader in AI without making sure that the products are developed, designed, and deployed in accordance with the laws that Congress have passed. Not new laws yet.
Before we go further, if you believe American jobs matter, if you want to stay informed on how your government is handling AI, labor rights, and everything in between, hit that subscribe button right now. This is where we break through the noise. This is where truth lives. Now back to it.
Broadly, many American workers are very concerned about losing their jobs to AI. Concerns that I think are very well-founded. What's your message to American workers who feel at risk from this so-called AI revolution and think, gee, pretty soon I'm not going to have a job at all?
Well, this is a very, very important conversation.
I reminded him of something chilling. Not long ago, the Microsoft CEO said AI will soon eliminate all kinds of non-creative jobs, like those unnecessary service workers at restaurants. Really? That's your utopia? To me, that's a nightmare. That's erasing millions of honest jobs, the kind that build families and keep our economy alive. Are we really going to applaud a technology that strips away even more?
Another conversation on how we win, making sure that all workplace workers who are going to be either using these tools, subject to these tools, are not fearful that they're going to be replaced by them. And that's really working with the entire AI community, whether it's the venture capitalists, the vendors, to ensure that these products are developed, designed, and deployed with that in mind, that this is going to essentially make your job easier, better, and you could be more enjoyable and thrive more in the workplace and not having that fear of displacement. And if these tools are used to displace workers, that's a whole different conversation that we need to have before that occurs, to make sure that all protections in the workforce are built into these systems, because if they're not, then that's a part we could use law enforcement if jobs are improperly being displaced by artificial intelligence, the same way we would do if it was by humans.
The truth is this. We can't just hand over our future to unchecked technology. We need laws. We need oversight. We need the Department of Labor to step up and make sure that AI works for the worker, not the other way around.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that answer, and I just want to register a concern here that I've registered in other contexts, which is we hear a lot about the AI revolution and how wonderful it's going to be for workers. And I hope that that's true. And I think it should be the business of this Congress to make sure it is true, because what I am not willing to see are large amounts of jobs, or really any number of good-paying jobs, ruined, destroyed, taken by AI. We have too few good-paying blue-collar jobs in this country. I don't want an AI revolution that takes away even more of those.
And that's what I'll keep fighting for. Legislation that ensures American workers are protected, respected, and empowered, not replaced. Where do we go from here? We hold the line and keep asking tough questions. We refuse to let big tech dictate the future of American labor. If you care about this fight, smash that like button, comment below, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.